good morning. Long time no talk? I don't know. Let's see. Some big things have happened. My parents bought a house. I've been painting a house. And then I moved about a month ago. It's been big changes. Right now, I'm running to Target because I'm out of shampoo. And I need to pick up some other stuff. So why don't you come and join me? And along the way today, I'll catch you up. Catch you up on everything that's happened in the last month and a half. Alright, let's start with what I read in September. Haven't updated you on those readathons yet. So the first book I finished in September was Quicksand by Nella Larson. I'm sitting in a parking lot. I should have turned around so like you had trees to look at, but I didn't. And I gave this book 4 stars on Goodreads. Call Pile came out to a 3.5. And I'm still kind of going between a 3.5 and a 4. I'm not quite sure. The first half of the book, I loved it. I loved Helga's experiences and journey in her life. The second half of the book lost me. I didn't feel like anything happened. I mean, a lot happened, but like, I didn't feel like anything happened. And I felt like it's a character-driven book, which is fine. But when it's a character-driven book, the character needs to change some, in my opinion. And she didn't. By the end of the book, you have the same Helga. So Helga is this woman. She was born to a white mother and a black father, raised by her white mother as a single mom. So most of her family that she knew was white. And in America, that wasn't okay in this time period. To be black, but only have white family. She went to Norway? I want to say it was Norway. I might be wrong. To live with her aunt and uncle. And, well, it wasn't racist there. Like, no one judged her based on her skin color. Kind of. She was a spectacle because they had never seen someone so dark. And it was kind of uncomfy. And I think I'm gonna kind of put, like, spoiler stuff now, because really, my rant is with the end of the book. So, spoiler, if you don't want to know what happens in the second half of the book, move on. But in the second half of the book, she goes back to New York and meets back up with Dr. Anderson from the first half of the book, where she was teaching at a black Southern school, and he was like the principal, headmaster type of thing. And however many years later, she meets back up with him in New York, but he is getting married. She kind of had feelings towards him at the beginning of the book, but she kind of went, hell no, I don't want to marry someone like that, and I'm engaged to marry this other person anyways. Well, she breaks off that engagement, and she is now in New York with Dr. Anderson again, and in my opinion, she marries the pastor, just to spite Dr. Anderson. I had a problem with her religious reckoning, kind of, but that might just be me. But everyone's religious journey is different, I guess, so I can't really judge based on that. But she went to one church gathering. I don't remember the word. I'm not religious. And all of a sudden, she's like, praise God, and he's the best, and this is what I needed in my life. And then she goes to South Alabama. Well, she meets this preacher in Harlem, falls in love with him, and moves to South Alabama and is super religious for 2 years. But at the beginning of the book, she despised religion. despised it. And now, 3/4 of the way into the book, it's the best thing ever. She has 5 kids with him, but by the end of the book, she despises religion again. And I'm not doing that great at explaining this, or like why. I don't know. I like the writing. Nella Larson has good writing. I cannot lie with that. It was just this character development that happened and then didn't happen. And the second of the half of the book, I just really didn't care about. Like, it could have ended in the first half with her, at the end of the first half, with her just living life in Harlem and partying and being herself, and I would have been perfectly happy. I would not have been upset if that's how it ended. Because she went on a journey and she deserved to live her best life. That's not what happened. She almost... Now, I mean, I guess that is some character development. I think I ranted about that enough. The next book I read was Asylum by Madeleine Roux. Asylum. It was a YA horror. I'm not going to say it was great. I'm not going to say it was necessarily bad. I'm definitely not going to say it was necessarily bad. I gave it 4 stars. And I read it in almost one go. I read the first 2 chapters one day, and then I finished the rest of the book in one day. In like one sitting, I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry if it echoes in here. I have nothing on the walls. Hopefully it doesn't echo. This is my bedroom. I don't have dark gray walls anymore. That's a change. Okay, so this book is about a kid who's sent to a college prep course at a university, and then some spooky shit starts happening. And he makes friends, which are like his first ever friends, which is really cute and really sad. I gave it 4 stars. I did finish it in pretty much like one go. I only had 50 pages when I was about to stop, and then I was like, no, just finish the book. Finish the book. And I'm glad I did. It was predictable, but it was good. It was written really well. You have to remember it's been over a month since I read this book, and I read my review of it, and I already forgot that. Oh well. Alright. So yes, I did not predict the biggest plot twist, but I wasn't surprised when it happened. Like I said, it's YA, and I think I would recommend this to people who maybe don't read horror or thrillers but want to get into them, or just a younger audience that is really into horror and thrillers, but maybe aren't ready for like adult level horror, which I don't even know if I'm ready for adult level horror. So yeah, I don't know. It was good. I'm not gonna lie. It was a good book, and I would pick up the rest of the series if I saw them for a good price. Just because of the nature of the book, I probably won't like prioritize reading the series because there's other series I rather read right now. But it was definitely a good book. If you like horror but you want something kind of lighter, pick it up. The next book I finished was The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. And we'll get to that in a diddly do. Diddly do? In a minute? I don't know. It's been too long I'm saying weird things. muffin that I just made in the death of Mrs. Westaway. 4.5 stars. It is about this girl who gets a letter that says she has inherited this big inheritance from an estranged grandmother. And she's kind of wondering if it's really for her or not. But she decides she doesn't think it's for her. In the end, she decides she doesn't think it's for her, but she's gonna go and see if her cold reading skills that she uses as a tarot reader will help her maybe get a little bit. Because she's broke, she has a loan shark after her, and she just needs some cash. But it gets a lot deeper than what she's expecting, and there's a whole bunch of lies in the family that she's trying to steal from. It's stealing. That was a crap summary. 4.5 stars. I super duper enjoyed it. It had me kind of going back and forth, and the plot twists were really good and kept coming and disproving what I thought I had known. And overall, I say, for me, it was a good first book from Ruth Ware. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not bad. And I don't know if you noticed, but this is a vegan muffin, so there's no eggs or anything that really fluffs it. I might have mixed it too much. It's really moist. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it was expensive to make because it was Meyer lemons, and it's not Meyer lemon season. I don't mind it, but it's moist like a cupcake, not really a muffin. It has chia seeds in it, but only a tablespoon for the entire batch, so you're only getting like 1/12 of a tablespoon per muffin, and I don't really see the point in that. I think at that point it's kind of just pointless and a waste of money, because you would need like a tablespoon per muffin to really get any benefits from the chia seed. Let's talk about Blythe's If My Body Could Speak poetry collection. Editing Bethany just a few hours after recording this video. I mispronounced Baird's name the entire video, and I'm sorry. I apologize. But it's Baird. Not Bard. It's Baird. If My Body Could Speak by Baird. I'm gonna make this quick because I'm currently parked across like 6 spots just to get semi-decent lighting. I am pretty far away from everything though, so I should be fine. This, I gave it 5 stars, but it is not an easy read. If you are looking for a cute poetry book that will only take like an hour to read, and by the end of it you're feeling light and you're feeling fluffy and you're feeling just good, this is not it. This made me cry. It made me mad. It made me angry. It made me sad. It made me furious, because I know so many women go through these problems. There's eating disorders, there's sexual assault, there's a bit of homophobia, and it made me so upset to read. We as women just need to do better. Stand up for each other. That's my takeaway on this book. But honestly, if you have a chance to read it, read it. Because Baird, I didn't know this until after I had finished it, they do slam poetry, so this is not necessarily super lyrical or rhymey. I mean, it does some. It follows poetry standards, I guess, but it is meant to get you to pay attention. It's meant to make you listen. Like, I don't care who you are. I think reading this book, this poetry collection, would do you a world of good, just to make you realize some things that some people have to go through. Blythe went through things I didn't have to go through, but she made me feel as though I did by her writing. Her writing was so good. It was so emotional. It was so raw. By the way, I went to Target. I don't know what type of video this is. I got shampoo. They didn't have the shampoo I wanted. The closest store that had it. And an hour and a half drive. So I got something else. And we'll see if I like it. I've wanted to try Sun Bum shampoo, but I just haven't. What does it smell like? Does it smell like their... Oh, it smells like their sunscreen. It smells like coconuts. And then I got baby wipes. One book I read in October was House of Hollow by Krystal Sutherland, and I'll catch you up on it real soon. My neighbor's metal grinding with no safety. I just thought I needed to tell you that. Is this good lighting? I don't think so, not really. Does it make me look uber greasy? Possibly. You want to know? What I had before was an apple crisp macchiato. It's delicious. If you don't like super sweet coffee, it's really good. I mean, let me plug you in. Does that help? I don't know. Super good if you don't like super sweet coffee. This iced green tea, no sweetener. You noticing a trend? But I don't take my coffee black, like, ever. Okay, but House of Hollow by Krystal Sutherland. I adored this book. I gave it 4.5 stars, 5 stars, 4.5 stars. It was weird, and I'm outside, so if you hear my neighbors making noise, there's not a lot I can do. 4.5 stars. I adored it. It was weird, it was fantastical, nothing made sense, yet everything made sense and was great. This book doesn't answer all the questions it poses throughout the story, and normally that would really annoy me. I'm sure you've heard me explain that that's really annoying sometimes, but in this book I went in with no expectations of having answers to everything because I knew it was fantastical, and fantastical it was. Iris, the goody two-shoes, and Vivi was the punk rock badass, and Gray was the weird older sister that seemed to somehow have her life put together. And it was weird. If you don't know what it's about those 3 sisters, and they went missing 10 years ago. They were missing for a month, and then they showed back up exactly where they went missing with no clothes on. Now it's 10 years later, and weird stuff is starting to happen again. The oldest sister, Gray, goes missing. So Iris and Vivi team up and are trying to find their sister. And then I'm going to put in spoiler warning because I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to talk about. So the way Kate was super protective over Iris, it kind of confused me, especially once I knew what Gray had said to Kate. I mean, it made sense, but I was also kind of confused by it. The halfway, I want to know more about it. Hopefully this is semi-good and semi-usable. If not, I'm sorry. But I want to know more about the halfway. I want a second book. I want to see Tyler come back to life. Tyler was a pretty cool character, and I think he gave this book kind of just what it needed, because he was questioning like all these things that the sister were just like, yeah, that's a thing. He was like, it shouldn't be. Excuse you. I don't know how much to say. The ending made me cry. Is that a little sad that it made me cry? Maybe. But it made me cry. It was really good. I think this is definitely, even though it's only 4.5 stars, this is definitely a book I will visit again. And I mean, look at the cover. It's gorgeous. I wouldn't be surprised if I read it again in the next year, because as soon as I finished it, a week later, I was kind of like, I want to read that again. What I didn't like, why did I not give it 5 stars? I think what really made me not give it a full 5 stars was the halfway. like really interested in it, really want to know more. Was kind of disappointed with how little we got to learn about it. Like, we knew the very basics of what it was. Also, there weren't that many twists. Or if you think there were a lot of twists, maybe that means I saw a lot more twists coming than I thought I did. 2 big twists in this book I did not see coming. I couldn't have stopped 10 pages before the reveal and been like, this is what's gonna happen. But as soon as they were happening, I knew what it was. As soon as the masked man was starting to be revealed, even when they had said no names, had no look at the face, I knew who it was. And I knew at the end, I knew what was happening. But yeah, I guess that's really why I didn't give it a full 5 stars, is it's a short book. It's only 292 pages. I would have loved to see even just 10 more pages of just a little more description of the halfway. I know we're seeing it through Iris's point of view. This whole story is through Iris's point of view. It's a singular POV. But I would have loved, I don't know, a little bit more story about Gray was doing in the last 10 years. And I know Iris doesn't know anything about that, so I think it definitely could have benefited maybe from either a second point of view from someone, whether that be Gray, the masked man, I don't know. But a second POV I think would have been really good in this book. I think it would have helped answer a lot of questions. But I also think maybe just a couple more twists and turns. Like, I knew what exactly was gonna happen. You know it's not safe. That type of thing. Like, I didn't have a feeling of comfort. Like relief, they're safe. I knew that they weren't safe. And, I don't know, it is a YA. It is a YA book. And it's a really good book. I really enjoyed it. But if you can't think critically about books you like, then are you thinking critically at all? Yeah. So, I don't know. I think that's really just kind of like what I have to say. I've spent a lot of time on this book, but it's literally the only book I read in October. But while I'm here, I guess I might as well tell you about the book I'm reading right now. I am reading Lying Game, or The Lying Game by Ruth Ware. I'm reading it on Scribd, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Funny story on how I picked it up is I was having a hard time picking out a book, and I just asked my brother, basically. I gave him a few questions to kind of narrow it down, and then I just started listing off titles, and he was like, The Lying Game. And I was like, okay. I was like, because it was Halloween when I did this with him. It's super informal. Like, I was like, horror, thriller, or suspense, and he was like, suspense, and I was like, great. Stephen King, no Stephen King. He chose correctly and said no Stephen King. I was not down to read a Stephen King book. And then I gave him like under 350, 350 to 500, or over 500 pages, and he chose 350 to 500 pages. And then I just started listing titles, and he chose The Lying Game, so that's what I'm reading. And I'm enjoying it. It is about these friends that went to boarding school together in high school when they were younger. Well, it's not high school because it's set in the UK. Whatever. When they were like 15. They met when they were 15 or so. And, I can see the sun went behind a cloud. Oh, I'm sure that's a lot better now. It's not going to stay behind the cloud for long. And they played The Lying Game. The Lying Game was where you just lied to everybody, and you got points, but you couldn't lie to each other. That was like the big rule. Fast forward 15, 17 years. They're now in their 30s, they've developed their own lives, and they all get a text. Well, 3 of them gets a text from the other one that says, I need you. And they drop everything and they show up because that's what they do. And I'm currently about a quarter of the way into the book. So right now, we don't really know what happened. We know that Kate lives in the sawmill where her father lived. And there's this guy Luke, which I think is Kate's brother, who everyone's really upset about when they think about him. There are weird things happening. Not super weird right now. Right now we're kind of getting like current time. You figure out why Kate, I've already figured out like, or kind of, why Kate called them back. And possibly like what happened. But I haven't had anything confirmed yet. But it's set in 2 times. You have current them in their 30, and this is being told from the point of view of Issa. No, it's not Issa. It's Isa. Yeah, because she says, it rhymes with nice. And I was like, okay, Isa. So you're getting this point of view of like how they met and kind of what they got up to the first few weeks of school. It's really interesting so far. I'm really enjoying it. I think really that's all I have to say about it right now. I'm really enjoying it. And I think that's where I'm gonna end this video. Have I covered everything already? We have a house that has a backyard. I have a bedroom that doesn't have gray walls. They have white walls and 1 pink wall. I'm still not unpacked. I don't have anywhere to put my books. All my books are still packed up because I'm stuck in a limbo right now. That's really all. And I've caught you up with what I read in September and October and what I'm currently reading. I mean, I guess if we really want to get into it, I succeeded in the magical readathon. Technically, you only had to read 2 books, and I read The Death of Mrs. Westaway, and I read Asylum. I failed Bookoplathon because I only read 3. Have some stats for September. I don't think there's really any point for putting stats for October because I read 1 book. I mean, I only read 4 books in September, so there's probably not much to put on that either, but yeah, that's everything. Thank y'all for watching. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I will see y'all all next time.